G'day, my name's Louis Phillips. I'm a fitness personality, an entrepreneur, and I genuinely just love watching people grow. Welcome to the Fitness and Lifestyle Podcast.
Welcome to the Fitness and Lifestyle Podcast. I'm your host, Danny Kennedy, and I'm here to help you become the very best version of yourself. You nailed that intro.
Is that all right?
That's pretty good, I reckon. Yeah.
One take.
Welcome to the show, brother.
Mate, thanks for having me.
Pleasure.
I'm a genuine fan of you and this podcast for a while. In fact, my whole family is a fan. My sister's been sending me your content and your podcast since like 2 years, 3 years ago. So
that's epic.
Yeah.
It's actually fucking funny when Prime was in. He was like, because we kind of like met properly, the end of last year around at Muz's house.
Yeah, Christmas.
And I'd obviously been aware of your content for a while and Gabe and Prime's as well. And then, yeah, when he was in, he was just like, yeah, I fucking listened to your podcast like 4 years ago. I was like, fuck, they would have been shocking episodes back then.
Early day adopter.
Mate, how far have you ran this week?
I think I'm only on about 20 Ks this week so far, but I'll get it up to about 40.
Tell us a bit about the transition into like putting a lot more content around running up. Obviously, we're going to dive today into the 9 to 5 stuff and a bunch of your content recently and the traction that you've always been getting, and obviously spending a lot of time with your close mates who are also pumping out content, which is awesome. But the running content has been super, like, highly engaged, which is awesome. But it's also, I think I saw your story yesterday. You mentioning that, you feel the best you've felt in a long time, feel the healthiest and fittest you've felt in a long time. And I mean, obviously that's an absolute plus, but a lot of people will be taking a lot of inspiration from the content. So
yeah,
what was like the shift that you just decided, fuck it, I'm going to start putting a lot more content around running, and then obviously kind of take that journey a bit more seriously?
Yeah, I mean, I've always kind of been paired alongside Gab, which has been a privilege the whole way through. But like, you do want to kind of stray off and build your own personal brand and, my own fitness identity, I suppose. So I've kind of really put emphasis on that over the last 6 months.
Yep.
And kind of trying to stray away from, this idea that I'm paired alongside Gab has been quite difficult. And, the last maybe month, I've just like really started this running content, and it's just like hit algorithms. It's hit a niche, and like everyone and anyone can do it. So I guess that's where it kind of started for me. And the growth has been exponential. The responses have been incredible, and it feels like I'm genuinely changing people's lives. So I have so much motivation at the moment, such a want to help people, and that's, I suppose, like where it all comes from.
It's a pretty powerful shift, isn't it? Like, even I remember we've spoken about on the show before, like to a lesser degree, but throughout school and shit, I was always such a people pleaser or just trying to fit in and always kind of like on the more anxious side and never really kind of just being yourself. But once you make that mindset shift of, we spoke about before, like just fuck it. Like I don't really give a fuck what the minority of people, if they have a certain opinion of me, or if there's certain people that don't like what I'm doing. Like if you've got, on the other hand, fuckloads of people who are benefiting from your content, and you are helping people, and most importantly, you're feeling good and feeling happy, then that's the most important thing.
Mate, exactly. And I think for me and a lot of people in Australia, especially blokes, is like, it stems back to this almost footy culture and this tall poppy syndrome and this thing that I've had made up in my head of what will the footy boys think, or what will like the mates from school think? When in actual fact, firstly, they're all super supportive.
Yeah.
Like I make up in their head that they're not, in my head that they're not. And then, the second thing is like the tall poppy thing, like the ones that are knocking you down, mate, they're never going to say it to your face anyway. So it's this like made up idea I have in my head.
Often they have some form of like either insecurity or thing that they know that they want to change in their life, but they don't have the courage to do it either. So
exactly.
It's kind of like, well, if I'm not going to do it, I'm going to make them feel bad about doing it.
Exactly. And it's like, so, that real thought of like, geez, I'm going to die one day. Like, I don't want to.
I'm not going to about Robbo's opinion.
Yeah, exactly. So, mate, just trying to capitalize it. Like the growth in the last couple of days has been like mental, like just
crazy,
unbelievable. Yeah. So I'm kind of a bit rattled by it. Just trying to, see what we can do and keep running, mate.
Yeah, that's elite. With the growth of the audience and whatnot as well. Obviously, you said what's led to that has been the fact that you've kind of just dropped all the fucks that were given about people's opinions and whatnot. But I think naturally what comes with the audience growing as well is you almost start to like feel, to an extent, a bit of pressure of like, what should I post, or you start to really think
Yeah.
a little bit more about like the things you are posting because you know there's so many more eyeballs on it. So how have you kind of felt with that?
Yeah, well, it's a feeling of like pure responsibility.
Yeah.
Like I feel responsible for providing the correct advice or just tips in general. But mate, it's an honor and I absolutely love it. I feel like I'm thriving in it at the moment. I felt this real knack lately for just trying to help other people. Like you saw my story yesterday. Like I've never felt healthier, fitter, or happier.
Yeah.
And like I want that to be contagious. I want to show people that. I want people to feel the exact same as me. So like that's like the drive behind all of my content.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of pressure, and mate, I make mistakes all the time. I put videos out where I say do this, and then I do some more research and go, hang on, it's probably not the best idea.
Yeah.
But
the ability then to be able to acknowledge that as well, and even just being open, like, you know, I'm sharing this content, but at the same time, I'm not fucking claiming to know everything. It's like I'm learning as well. I'm just sharing my experiences with you guys. I think that kind of helps with that feeling of like, you know, I don't want to say something that's not right, because everyone's going to fucking put some shit out at some point that's not right.
Mate. And like, you know, the running community, it seems so like holistic and, you know, all involving and getting anyone in. It's not like
clicky.
Oh mate, clicky as if you run this certain time around this, you know, track, then you can speak. It's like those are not half. That's 2 comments out of 1,000. Are like, oh, look at this bloke, like he can't even run a, you know, sub 20-minute 5K, which I just did. And but it's like, mate, I'm not trying to be a professional runner. I don't want the body shape of a runner. Like I want to be able to bench 120 kilos, but then also run a half marathon. Exactly.
How long did it take you to shave the time off to crack the 20? Because I saw, what did you do, 1950 for 5?
Yeah, 5K. I mean, I've done sub 20 before, but it took me like a month or 3 weeks of really locking in. Essentially this...
It's quick.
Yeah, the process of like this, like my content taking off has just been building to that sub 20-minute 5K. And I hit it yesterday, which was nice. But now what do I post?
Yeah, that's it. What's the plan? You try and shave more time off that, or you shift to something different? Or
definitely shifting. I think I find a real, like I love watching beginners grow. And I put a video out saying, if you're a beginner, run for 30 minutes with your heart rate under 160 or something. And then I had all these responses saying like, mate, I can't even run for a minute. And I was like, of course, like that. There's so many beginners out there who, like, I can't just assume. So like I'm trying to shave it right back. Like that's the next step for me, is like getting my mum to start running, getting my dad to start running, like people who would never go for a run, get out there and run and like make it really easy and palatable content.
Cater for all levels to an extent. Yeah,
exactly.
I mentioned 9 to 5 before, and obviously Gab as well. Like how did your actual journey start within the fitness industry? I don't even know, like, did you and Gab grow up together, or like how did you even start off like kind of getting into this space? Yeah,
so we went to school together up until year 9, and then Gab went to a different school. And then we kind of lost contact for a while there. And then after school kind of got back into contact and started working together, lifting together. We were doing like beach, like pull-ups and, you know, push-ups at the beach, nothing serious. And then kind of just, it grew from there. Like we started 9 to 5 on the back of getting heaps of questions from people saying, you know, can you help me with this and that? We're like, why don't we capitalize on this and make it a business? And we just wanted to provide tips. We never had the goal of becoming fitness influencers, and it's kind of stemmed from there.
One of the questions, I put up a question box yesterday, and I was going to save them to the end, but on this topic, I think, what was one of them? Someone asked, have you finished your agri-business degree? So what, like what was your, before the fitness stuff took off, like what direction were you hoping to head down career-wise?
It's a great question. I have no idea. So I haven't finished my agri-business degree. I'm still going with it. It's a long and slow process that I'm just chipping away at. But I enrolled in agri-business at La Trobe and have been doing that ever since. You know, it's one subject a semester. But I didn't necessarily want to work in that realm. It was just something I thought I should do for myself. But I guess I had this idea of maybe working in media, but definitely it wasn't fitness early on. Yeah,
right. With the content side of things, obviously you mentioned you're a lot more comfortable, particularly within the last kind of 6 to 12 months, like building out that content. Was that something that you were like right from day one you were comfortable with doing, like putting content out of yourself and stuff?
Yeah.
online?
Nah, not at all. Like we originally started 9 to 5 as a business, and the whole point of the business was that like it didn't have Gab and my face in it. Like that was the rule. Our faces weren't in it. It was just either the apparel or like programs happened later down the line. So it was just the apparel really. That stopped within a week. We're like, no, get our faces on it. Let's go. Hopefully get a few Instagram followers out of this. But like I definitely wasn't confident the whole way through. And I was so lucky that I had Gab next to me throughout that process and still do, because like he doesn't care what anyone thinks.
Yeah.
I really care what people think, or I really did care what people thought. So it took me ages to build into that and be able to step into that realm of having people, you know, judge you, but then like appreciating it.
That's it. Well, like spending a lot of time, like being in an environment where you've got yourself, Gab and Prime, how's that been? Like I feel it's got to just amplify, one, the motivation to keep putting out content, two, you're leveraging off each other in terms of, you know, different ideas and obviously, you know, lifting each other up when you can't be fucked and whatnot, but also then having like a social life as well. Like you're having the opportunity to spend all this time and do all this cool shit with your mates, which is pretty rare these days for most people.
So rare. Like I never take for granted the house we're in. Like we're so lucky. Like Tom, Gab and myself, we work together really well. We butt heads every now and then, but it always works out. And like when one of us is up, like we're all up. You know, like I love seeing Tom do well. I love seeing Gab do well. They love seeing me do well. So living in that house has really changed things. And it's also just made like creating content so much easier, like, obviously, you know. So very appreciative. And it does get rough at times. Tom's super loud. Like he shouts and screams. And you know, I told this story on a podcast the other day, but I walked downstairs and like he's screaming and shouting at the top of his lungs, like just letting it out. Mate, I almost had a bloody panic attack. I was like, can you just stop? Like, this is so like audibly painful. Yeah, exactly. So there's times like that, but that's just who he is. And I love him for that. And, you know, Gab's a whole different kettle of fish. He was, the last 2 months he's been posting into our house group chat, boys, someone come and pick up the sheets in the laundry. Like, if you don't come pick up the sheets, I'm going to lose it. Seriously, guys, like a message, you know, at least once or twice a week. I said, mate, I reckon they're your sheets. Turns out they're his sheets. Yeah. But he's been like ripping into everyone for leaving the sheets. So he's fantastic to live with as well. And then we got a fourth person, which is Jordan. He's a ripper as well, just like does his thing. And, you know, probably like the perfect housemate for people, like a house full of such big personalities. Yeah.
Over the, I'd say, correct me if I'm wrong, but particularly over the past 12 months, all three of you have obviously gained a lot of traction and there's different opportunities that have been arising and whatnot. Like, how have you found that going from, you know, yourself and Gab running a business 9 to 5, but then now having so much opportunity? Have you found that difficult to navigate in terms of like, all right, what actually is aligned with what I want to do? Or am I just saying yes to things because they're presenting themselves?
Yeah, it's a difficult thing to navigate. It's a hard line to trot as well, because I don't want to sell out and like I don't want to just, you know, give in to anyone. So we are very particular with who we align ourselves with different brands. But on top of that, like opportunities, there's all these other opportunities in terms of not only are we just getting cash remuneration from brands, like we're getting, you know, the potential for equity. We're getting the potential to be really more involved in the marketing scheme of the brand. So it's nerve-wracking, but it's also really exciting. So navigating that's been not too difficult. Like we'll always stay true to the people that follow us, and I'll never sell out or sell them something that's shit. Yeah. But I do need to keep a roof over my head. So you wanna toe the line. Yeah.
With the 9 to 5, how does that work in terms of you and Gab? Like, is there others involved as well? And like how involved are you on the business side? Like what type of area do you kind of push towards within the business space of it?
Yeah, like Gab's very much business. Like he loves the business side. I was very much business as well early days. I've kind of shied away from that a little bit in the last year or so. But we've got a team that works for us and a group that's just like elite. Gab's really good at forming these teams that everyone can chip in and add in. So I'm a part of that team as well. And we have our weekly meeting every Tuesday. And you know, that weekly meeting not only is talking about 9 to 5, but it's talking about like Gab and myself's content. So like how we can improve on that.
What
and
direction you can push.
From like a consumer's perspective, we got, you know, some young kids, we're like 18, 19, 20-year-olds who are the direct demographic of what we produce. So like stuff like that's super helpful, and 9 to 5 just continues to grow. Like it's such a fun thing to be a part of that I'm super appreciative of.
That's epic. Where do you hope to kind of like what direction do you hope to push things in, like kind of over the next few years? Obviously, there's heaps going on for you at the moment, but do you have not so much an end goal, but like a vision of where you hope things kind of lead to?
Like I'm not 100% sure, but just like the emphasis of helping others. Like I want more people to be fit and happy. That's like my number one goal. And like happiness to me is from a holistic perspective. I don't just have to be able to run a sub 20-minute 5K. I want to be able to go out and have beers with my mates on the weekend and then be able to work really hard during the week. So I want that for everyone. And you know, however I can monetize that, however I can create that into a business, I'll look into. But at this stage, I'm just trying to strike while the iron's hot and create the content.
Fucking oath. With the running side of things, I'm sure there will be some questions in the question box from yesterday about this, but like, how are you structuring your strength training now that you're doing a lot more Ks and stuff on the legs? Like, have you cut back the volume on lower body, or have you got more specific to running pattern movements, or what are you doing there?
Yeah, I definitely have. So I've always done a bit of plyo, like plyometric stuff, probably like doing legs 3 days a week, upper 3 days a week. I've definitely scaled that back. I'm probably doing legs 1 to 2 days a week max. And it's a lot of recovery because like I'm having kind of 40K weeks on the legs of running, and it's just, it's too much, to be honest, right now, especially with footy. So I'm just trying to get through, and like this content stuff, it's going so well that is my main priority, trying to capitalize on that. But yeah, my training's very an upper lower split. I've got a coach who's a Gabs powerlifting coach. He coaches me he's a sports and exercise scientist. And he just like programs for us. So learn a lot from him, and upper lower split, he plugs it in and I do it.
Perfect. With football, like, where are you playing this year?
Yeah, so I am playing out at Wangaratta with Tom.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's good.
So, mate, it's been a process. I stupidly signed with Kyneton, my old club, last year. Yeah. You know how it is. I was like, I didn't even know Tom was coming to Melbourne at this point. Yeah. I was just like, just sign up. Like, can't wait. Yeah. I love the club. Yeah. And like, Paul Chapman's the coach there who played for Geelong. Like, awesome guy. Like, not only have I learnt football things from him, I've learnt, like just lifestyle stuff and just trying to grow into like being a man and stuff. Like, so really difficult decision to make, but it is the best decision for me and my content to play with Tom out at Wangaratta, or Prime Train. So yeah, playing with Prime and under Sam Murray as well, who's the coach, and I can't wait.
With there's going to be a fair bit of travel involved in that too, yeah. So what's that kind of looking like? Are you having to really have a look at how the structure of your weeks are looking now in terms of not only football, but then business content, and making sure you kind of don't burn the candle on both ends too much?
100%, and that'll be like burning the candle on both ends in terms of not only travel but anywhere I play. Like, playing footy and trying to make content is really difficult, especially if your content isn't all footy based. Yeah. So like, I have to figure that out anyway. But like, I'm going to be traveling with Tom the whole time, who's doing the exact same thing. I'm going to be like, they put you up in a really nice hotel. It's got a sauna, it's got a gym, it's got a pool. Like, things will be easier.
Exactly rough. Yeah.
No, it's not like, I've got a laptop, I can work from anywhere pretty much. And that's kind of the direction I want to keep heading my life, is kind of that like digital nomadism, be able to work from anywhere and set up a laptop and do what I do. So makes sense.
Have you found on that topic of like, a number of different lanes that you're trying to stay in at the moment, like, have you found with football and stuff, have you found the motivation for that, or even like the amount of time you're wanting to put into that in comparison to then trying to stay on top of the running, which obviously plays into the footy fitness and stuff as well, but then content, business, social life and stuff, like, mate, is footy still like a pretty big priority for you?
You'd be the only person that's asked me that over the last 2 months. And to be honest, like, I'm almost at the point now, it's like, I would love to just run. I'd love to be a full-time runner and content creator. Like, I know when I start footy, I'll love it. Yeah. But right now, I'm so about running. I genuinely could do 100 Ks a week easily. Yeah. Like, and
from an enjoyment perspective.
Yeah, just from the love of it. So the thought of playing footy right now is a little bit like annoying, but I know I love it and I know I need to do it. And like, this might be the only opportunity I get to play with one of my best mates in Tom. So I got to do it, and I'm keen for it.
Would you sign for 1 year?
Yeah, 1 year.
Yeah, beauty.
Yeah.
Hopefully Mars keeps you in line.
Yeah, he will. I'll keep him in line. Thank you.
Fucking Mars in line. Is Paddy playing there?
He's coaching the twos, I think.
Oh, Paddy's going there too.
Yeah,
That'll be elite.
Yeah, it'd be great fun. So we all head up to Wangaratta. Let's, like game on a Saturday, go up on a Friday night, like stay up in this hotel, have a feed.
Perfect.
Next morning, bit of a walk into a coffee, and then roll into the game and get told I should go and make another fucking TikTok by the opposition. Yeah. So I mean, Wangaratta's like, I didn't know the history of the club, and I didn't know a whole lot about it. I just kind of just went because Tom was there and Muzz is there, and mate, turns out they've got like the best rivalry with the crosstown rival team, which is Wangaratta Magpies. So I play for the Rovers. The Magpies are on the literally next door. Yeah. And there's a Good Friday game, which is the only game within like 200 kilometres of Wangaratta. And it's a massive rivalry. So
that'd be huge.
I'm told it's a big one, and I'm a bit nervous. Like these two teams genuinely hate each other.
Yeah.
Like they despise each other.
Where did you grow up?
I was born in WA, moved to Singapore, and then lived in Melbourne. So
the country games, like I would imagine, growing up, I grew up in Horsham in country Victoria, and like you genuinely do. Like the football opposition clubs just fucking hate each other.
They despise each other.
Yeah.
It's scary.
That'd be huge though.
Yeah.
So massive crowd. When's Good Friday?
April 8th or 7th, I think.
Have you been to Wang and try and like met all the boys and stuff
like
that?
Yeah, a couple times now. Like ripping clubs, super exciting. There's some very handy footballers there. Yeah. Like I just want to make the team, to be honest.
Yeah.
Which I love. I love always like playing up a level, and I'll be on the wing hopefully, and just doing 150 meter sprints all day and touching it 4 times.
Yeah. What's some of the better trash talk you've copped? Obviously, you just mentioned the you're gonna cop those ones around socials and whatnot.
Yeah.
Any elite ones that you've
yeah, I've had some great ones. The one that sticks to I've struggled with my kicking my whole life, and I think I've finally got the kicking sorted. But last year certainly struggled, and I was on the boundary in a game, and I took a mark right on the coach's box, and I was just about to hit a 45, which is a pretty hard kick, but like it's just pretty simple. And someone goes to me, Louis, you're the worst fucking kick in the competition. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to bite this 45 off. I'm going to, a 40 meter like grass cutting kick. It's going to hit the bloke on the chest. He's going to wheel and go, we'll kick a goal. So I go to do that, scrub the ground, turn over, goal to the other team. So they let me know about it. But there's plenty, like ones that surprised me are like middle-aged mothers. Like they're vile. Some of the stuff they say is just
Do you bite back or what?
Nah, you don't bite back to the. Otherwise, you're in for a long day. But like, I turn around and it's like, even saying it to my teammates, I play with some 18-year-olds who are genuine jets, and it's like a 50-year-old mum telling them that they're ugly, or it's like it could be your son, love. Like, and you got kids next to you. But I love the passion, so it's all part of it.
That's absolute gold. What is there anything like? I think I was asking. I might have asked Tom this actually. Like, what's some of the most common trash you get like through socials, particularly now as it's growing? Like, obviously, we talked about it already, but at the end of the day, who gives a fuck? It's just people sitting behind their keyboard or their phone and sending comments. But is there any that you just laugh at? Like,
heaps. Yeah, I mean, we get it all the time, and the hate comments get broken down into kind of 2 things. It's firstly personal hate, like just attacking your identity and who you are and your image, and the second is like fitness advice hate, which is fine. Like, it's fair enough. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. So the personal stuff, he's short, live in like Gab's shadow, like main ones. And yeah, that's kind of it. Like it's pretty good. And then the fitness stuff is more just about the delivery. So like, let's say you said, do a bicep curl like this. And I was like, oh, actually I disagree with that, Danny. Like, I think you should do a bicep curl like that. Yeah. They'll be like, you absolute weak dog. How dare you suggest that you do a bicep curl like this? I did, 2 days at a PT course and was told that, and it's like, it's just so personal the way they attack it. But like, mate, to be honest, the hate comments are like thick and far between. There's a few and far between. They're not that bad.
It's gold. Some of them are absolutely fucking hilarious.
What do you get? Surely you get a bit.
Oh, what makes you think that? I don't actually get like that much. I've had like, there's only certain things, like it's probably similar to you, but it's like you have put out a certain piece of content. If it's like one that's very opinionated, or I got absolutely fucking slammed during COVID actually. So I did you love this. Now that you're a runner, I was about to have knee surgery for like the second time, sorry. But it was still like the surgery that I needed, I could still train and shit. It was just afterwards it would get sore. So earlier that year I'd had a shoulder recon and I was like, fuck, I'm gonna have, like, I just want to do something physically and mentally hard as fuck before I go in and do this surgery, because I'm not gonna be able to train again for ages. So we're on the beers one night, and then I'm like, all right, fuck it, next week let's just run a marathon. Like, hadn't been training at all. So we geared up like a couple days later, and obviously there was still some restrictions. So I had to do a few loopholes, but also like figure out how I wasn't going to get fucking roasted for it. Yeah. So I remember posting on my story like, fucking just woke up this morning, gonna run a marathon today with no training. I'm like, we got to do it within 5K radius. We had to run out and back like within 5Ks. I'm like, personal trainer, so I could train with clients outside all day if I wanted to. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to do the first 2 hours or whatever with clients, and then the last one, that's my exercise for the day. Yeah. All this shit. And you didn't have to wear a mask when you were running, I don't think. So anyway, did it. Fucking finished the marathon, put up a post. I'm like, I was rooted, obviously. I put up a post, fucking just left my phone. And I remember getting a text from a friend saying like, hey, are you all right? Like, let me know if you want to chat. I'm like, what the fuck? So I opened up my Instagram, and it just been fucking slammed. Like, I think someone had screenshotted it and posted in one of like some like, what was it, celeb spell check or some shit, where it was like people just roasting, and it posted in another group where like the full vax lovers, like and I just got slammed, like people tagging like Vic Police, tagging radio station, people saying like some vile shit. They were just like, what was one of them? It was a really good one. It was like, you know, fucking there's people who don't even get to see their dying loved ones, and you're fucking out there running, you selfish fuck. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh my God.
I'm like, I went for a fucking run.
Yeah. Some people, through COVID, they just lost. Some people just lost it.
Oh, mate.
Just
it was
the
out
fear.
of control. It was just like, just any chance people could get to just rip someone. It was just like out of fucking, it didn't even make sense. I was training a client one day at the park. So the 2020, I trained throughout the whole thing just at this fucking park, right? Pretty much got PTSD when I drive past the park now. I remember one day this old lady came through, and she just stopped like 10 meters away and started videoing me. And I'm like, I was like, what are you doing?
You're right.
And she's like,
a fan.
You're the fucking reason why we're back in lockdown. And then she had like 20 rolls of fucking toilet paper because it was going out of fashion. Like, you boys have obviously, we were talking about it before we recorded, but you've got your podcast as well. How are you enjoying that? Like, how have you found that style of content? Obviously, with the reels and TikToks and shit, it's obviously more attention grabbing short clips, whereas the podcasting, the longer form content, I personally fucking love it. Yeah. But how are you guys finding it?
Absolutely love it. It was like it's something I've always been interested in podcasting and kind of broadcasting and longer form content, but we just couldn't like find the way to get into it straight away. And then we figured out the podcast probably the way to go. And we found that kind of really solidifies our audience. It really shows who are like, you know, the part of the community and really consume all our content. So any podcast listener, like they're listening to an hour of us talking every week. So mate, they're super fans and we absolutely love it. And I just want to keep doing more and more. So the podcast's been great from like a personal level. It's improved my ability to converse, like conversation skills and present and so on, just like so much better. And like not panicking behind a microphone or in front of cameras. So like it's really helped me in that area of my life. But then also, you know, the guests and stuff we have on, the chemistry Gab and I have, it's really cool seeing it come together.
I think as well, you know, you mentioned anyone sitting down to either watch or listen to an hour of your content per week is obviously pretty keen on your content, but it also allows currently, obviously, with the content that is really highly engaging, being so short and not much opportunity to really show any form of actual personality. I feel like people get to know you a lot better too on a different level in terms of, you know, even being able to talk about things like you spoke about at the start, like the fact that it's built your confidence, or, you know, this is the journey I'm going on with the running and stuff like that. Like, I reckon you should even start adding in a second series or episode, whether it's by yourself or with Gab, talking about the running journey. Yeah. Like to pair it on the back of the reels and stuff as well.
Absolutely, mate. Like, yeah, exactly. And being vulnerable in a podcast is what we found goes well. Like, Gab and I both went through breakups maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, and we spoke about it on the podcast. Like, we still have people message us, come up to us saying that like helped people through things. So like being able to do that, and then I can apply that to running, like just health and stuff. So there's such like a plethora of opportunities out there in regards to podcasting. And I'm so glad we got onto it early enough. Yeah. You know, because I feel like everyone's starting a podcast now, and it's hard to actually get fans and listeners for it.
Yeah. Particularly with podcasting, I feel like you see some of the better known podcasts, and I reckon a lot of people would be surprised at the actual numbers that podcasts do, even if they're a popular show, because it is, as you said, it's like an hour, sometimes 2 hours of your week.
Yeah.
When most of the time it's, you know, maybe listening on your way to work, whatever, and it gets broken up. Like it's interesting how many people are starting them now, though. I honestly think if you're a brand, a business, a personality, you should have a podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy to me that there's some people that haven't started them.
Can't believe it. What are you doing? It's same with any kind of content. Like, start posting. Like, I hate to be like Gary Vee or whatever, but like, mate, get going with it. You know, there's no time to worry about what people think. Like, start posting, start spreading your message. And like, we repeat ourselves a lot on our podcast, but it takes, 10 times for someone to hear something before they actually can kind of consume it properly.
For sure. It's almost like fucking retargeting with paid ads.
Exactly.
It's just like, here, see on the reel, here on the podcast.
You will listen.
Yeah, fucking listen. What have you been doing? Have you changed much with your nutrition now that you've ramped the Ks up?
Not really, to be honest. I haven't. I've kept it pretty like consistent. I found most footy seasons in the past, I've been very like, I've got to have all this muscle to go into footy, and so I don't get smashed. This season, I honestly couldn't care less about size. Like, it's probably one of the first years where I've really just like, I love my body, and like, this is what it is. You know, like, I want to be a little bit leaner, but if I lose muscle mass while I'm doing that, I couldn't care less. So I'm probably eating in a deficit at the moment. I was counting my calories. I think I was on like 2,500. Obviously doing like 20,000 steps a day though. So very kind of like dialed into my calories and stuff, but not too worried about them.
Not too worried about it. Is there, you mentioned vulnerability. Is there anything at the moment that you've either identified within yourself, whether it's mentally or probably not so much physically, or it might be, particularly mentally though, that there's areas that, you've addressed that you feel like you need to work on, or areas that you feel maybe insecure about, or things that you are really trying to like spend some time working through at the moment? Like, I've past 4 or 5 years really dived into the personal development space and the difference it can make, working through limiting beliefs and all this type of stuff, or even just areas that you're probably not even, or you're kind of like ignoring, and things that kind of subconsciously are holding you back. Like, is there certain areas that you're kind of working on at the moment?
Yeah, for sure. Like, always working on things. I mean, I went through a breakup which rocked me, which is like almost 2 years ago now. It took me ages, like a year and a half to get over it. Yeah. Pretty much. And I did a lot of personal development there in so many different realms. And I'm really happy with where I'm at now, but always things to work on. I find like the job, the realm I'm in, it's like I am my boss. So like, I get up and I can pick exactly what I do that day. I could sleep until 12. I could, and roll over and play Xbox all day. But like, if I do that, I'm not going to make it. So I think I'm trying to, and that gets very lonely. Like, you can be very lonely in that realm of doing your own thing. So I'm really trying to focus on appreciating time by myself. That's like my number one thing I'm working on, is like, just like taking myself on my own dates. I go for walks by myself, and like, I just want to like be so comfortable and confident in being alone that like, I don't need anyone else.
I love that.
So I'd say that is like the number one thing I'm working on, and I will always work on that. I couldn't have sat for 2 minutes by myself after my breakup. Like, I just hated what was going on in my head. But now I love being by myself, but I still have work to do on it. Like, I notice in the relationships I form as well in life, is just like, with girls or with mates, is like, I can get pretty attached. And it's like, you might be love bombing them, or you might be like too keen on someone, and like, I definitely need that connection. But it's like, am I doing that because I need to work on myself, or am I doing that because I really like this person? So,
for sure.
I'm always trying to identify that and work on that.
That's some fucking good self-awareness though. Like, that's the problem. I think for a lot of people, just don't have that self-awareness to even pick up on those things, and it's always putting the blame on someone else, or always like projecting like your own issues onto someone or something else, and not taking responsibility for it.
Well, that's and like accountability, that's like been a big thing with me and my mate Steve this year. He just said to me, 2023, year of accountability. It's like, that's so true. Like, I'm going to be fucking accountable for if anything goes wrong in my life, take responsibility. It's on me, and I need to figure that it's on no one else. So that's kind of been the big emphasis. That's
an awesome mindset shift to have. I can't remember who I first heard say that, but it really struck me when I heard that. It was like, once you can make that mindset shift of the fact that every single thing in your life, whether it's good or bad, is your fault. So like the good things, they're because of you. Like the bad things that happen, like even if it's like quite clearly someone else has fucked up, there's probably somewhere along the line that a decision you made has led to that even being a possibility of happening.
Exactly.
And it's crazy how much of a difference it makes in your life when you take full responsibility. It's amazing. Mate, I've got a few questions here that I'll rip off. Some of them are absolute dog shit, but
we get that as well in our mailbag. So far out.
We've already clicked off a few of them, but I'll what do we got here? Here we go. What are some tips for a beginner runner?
Yeah, tips for a beginner runner. I feel like a lot of people's idea of running is skewed from early days. Like they're traumatized by it. They were forced to do the beat test. They played footy and they were forced to do a 2K. I hate it.
Yeah.
Forget all that. Pull it back. Let's just relax for a second. I like focusing on heart rate. Yes. I say, if you can go for a run with your heart rate under 150, which is like zone 2, I think, or zone 2 running, then you're going to enjoy it. So I like to do a little bit of heart rate focus. I say, go for a run to time, not to a distance. So I'll break down for you. So what you're going to do as a beginner runner, go out there for 30 minutes if you can, run with your heart rate under 150, which is talking pace.
Yeah.
And just try and take in the surroundings, breathe and enjoy it. If your heart rate's under that, then you're going to you will enjoy it and it's like a pleasant thing to do. The idea to running long distances is about building up your aerobic base. And that's just like time on your legs. So if you can go out and do that more and more, your fitness will exponentially grow. That's how people run marathons. That's how people do half marathons, ultra marathons, so on.
Love it. We are so before. How do you feel about being characterized as a fitness influencer?
Yeah, I mean, like it's not what I set out to do or to be. But like the word influencer it's a little bit taboo because you've got people who a lot of people want to be an influencer and it's like, what are they influencing? Sure, they look hot, upload another photo of them at Sorrento Hotel or whatever and, looking fly as. But it's like, if you're not affecting people's lives, what's the point? So I feel honored and it's a pleasure to be a fitness influencer, but as long as you are feeling influenced by the right things, and that's all that matters.
I think it was Sarah Davidson.
Yeah.
When she was on last, we had this conversation and we came up with the term impactor. It's like, it's actually a huge responsibility, but at the same time, as you said, like it's absolute honor. Like if even though the term is absolute trash and there's bad connotation with it, it's like if you're literally putting out something that is having an influence, a positive influence on someone else's life. And if you can have that mindset, I think when you are putting out content, it's like, fuck, like I can genuinely, just by posting something on social media, change someone's life, like with one fucking video or one post or one response in a DM. And it's a big responsibility, but it's motivating, I think, knowing that you have that potential to do that.
And it's like we're so affected by the people we surround ourselves with. You're affected by the 5 people around you, or that's the old saying. Like the 5 people around you are like what you are. Now it's like we got social media. So like that's what, when I'm on social media, I'm trying to unfollow people left, right and center because I don't want to be affected by like people who are putting out shit vibes, like who are 100%. Just influencing. So like I take that and understand that when I'm creating content, like will this help someone? Will this change their life? If yes, then let's post it. Generally speaking, except for the thirst traps, then that's me just trying to get DMs from girls. So
the last one I had here was what was it? What supplements are you using at the moment, and like what have you found most effective? Obviously, taking into account that, and as long as your nutrition and training, recovery, and all that stuff is taken care of first, which supplements have you found most beneficial, and have you changed that in terms of doing more running now?
Yeah, I've really scaled it back with the supplements, to be honest. But two main ones are like hydration. So I use like a Endura like hydration powder.
Yep.
I'll have that, 2 scoops most days.
Electrolytes,
yeah.
Or just electrolyte?
It's not carbs, just electrolytes. Cool. Yep. Just because I'm trying to be lean out here. Mate, don't need energy. Just want to be peeled. Yeah. And then recovery, so just protein, protein powder. I have it with oats every morning, and
How good is that?
I like whey protein, mate. I have full milk coffees, whey protein. I'm a goat. My guts are like a goat.
Love it, mate. Well, thanks for coming in today. I appreciate you coming and spending time in here, and looking forward to seeing more of the content, and also to see what your kind of journey brings you over the next 12 months and onwards, and hopefully hanging out a bit more as well. Get a few sessions in. I'll come and punch out a few Ks with you. But
yeah, let's do it.
All the best with the journey, mate, and thanks for coming in. We'll tee up another one soon.
Keen, mate. Thanks so much for having me. I'm a huge fan.
Thanks, mate. Everyone who has tuned into this episode as well, whether you're listening or watching, we really appreciate it. If you've enjoyed the episode, feel free to take a screenshot and post it up on your Instagram story. Tag myself, tag Louis. I'll have his socials in the show notes so you can follow along with his journey as well. And we look forward to chatting to you in the next episode.